Tommy Robinson is on trial again for contempt of court for violating an injunction preventing him from publishing videos that were part of his evidence in the Jamal Hijazi libel trial. We're there again. Videos which he went on to publish after the hearing. Based on the information that's out there, and particularly in light of where we are now, that he's now been charged with contempt of court, it's worth saying there is no logic in him doing this. No logic I can find whatsoever, and I would encourage people to post their own speculations about this in the comments. Constructive input would be appreciated. So I can't find the actual injunction online. The nearest I can get is this from lawyers who were apparently involved in the matter, saying the judge also ordered an injunction to prevent Tommy repeating the same or similar allegations. I made a long video laying out the relevant parts of all that. This is a summary I wrote of the 3 defences he brought which simply did not stand up to scrutiny. If you want more detail, watch the video. I'll put the link in the description, but that summary you just saw pretty much does say everything that needs to be said. And don't blame me, it's not my fault his defences failed. They failed because they were simply full of holes. The order was posted a month ago on the 14th of June, and it says further down, which is bizarrely relevant: as soon as practicable, the applicant must serve a copy of this order personally upon the defendant, which must be accompanied with a further copy of the contempt application, or take all reasonable steps to ensure that he is notified of the directions hearing and the requirement that the defendant must attend. It's bizarrely relevant because of what he says here in the first of a couple of extracts I'm going to play of a talk with Jordan Peterson.
Since leaving the UK, I've received no paperwork, but a far-left organisation have put out that I'm going to be in court on July 29th, facing 2 years in prison for a film that I made 4 years ago.
He says the first he heard about this was in a tweet from Hope Not Hate, posted 3 days after it was posted on the courts and tribunals site. And he says he still hasn't received notification from the courts, even though notification is a part of the process, a required part of the process, and will definitely have been sent. This is very odd. I don't know if it's simply the case that he doesn't open his mail. I tend to not open my mail, but my mail tends to consist of bank statements for accounts that I haven't used for the past 10 years, so there are no consequences for me. It doesn't matter. I don't receive court summons. If he's simply not opened his mail, that's a pretty big mistake. So I'll run a little bit of the backstory here, even though it's fairly familiar to most people, I suspect. We had the infamous playing field incident a few years back when an immigrant called Jamal Hijazi had a bottle of water thrown over him by a British lad called Bailey McLaren in a school playing field, which absolutely absurdly went viral a few years ago. There should never have been a media shitstorm. This was a bullying incident which should have been dealt locally with the school, and other such incidents where the roles are reversed and Muslims are seen attacking natives go totally unreported because they don't support the mainstream narrative of everything native British bad, everything ethnic good. But there was. Tommy, who is apparently a friend of the family, gets involved, saying that the immigrant boy himself was actually a bully. He had a history of bullying. Lawyers working for the immigrant boy sue him for libel, and Tommy loses on the basis of what I've already said. The evidence he offered is gagged by an injunction. Tommy releases the videos anyway, claiming they were released by a US company who he entrusted the film to, and not him. 2 years later, fully 2 years down the line, contempt is charged, with Hope Not Hate seeming to take credit for it. We submitted a dossier of evidence to the Attorney General. Not sure why you need a dossier. All you need is a copy of the gag order and a video that violates it, but whatever. And I will say here, the injunction isn't necessarily all that unreasonable. I can't find it anywhere, I don't know what it says, I have no idea what the judge's reasoning was. But I would imagine it was something along the lines of, these videos he's presented failed. They were not accurate, they contained false information. He's going to want to release them and make a whole load of mischief. Let's just not go there. Maybe it's not all that pretty, but that's probably what he was thinking. I have no idea because I can't find it, but I would imagine it's something like that, and it wouldn't be totally unreasonable if that was the rationale. So anyway, here we are, back again. Jamal Hijazi libel. and back with contempt proceedings, which is for the second time of asking now. So the question now is, in light of the fact that this has now been charged, it wouldn't matter if he just if it hadn't been charged, but now in light of that fact, what in the world was he thinking in releasing the videos in the first place? So number one, the claim to any moral high ground here, any truth, is not true, it's false.
Well, the contempt issue.
So the contempt issue is, I went to court, and 5 pupils who I don't know came to court and testified. Now, one of those pupils got A grade is the best you can get in school. So one of those pupils got 11 A's, yeah? A young girl called Charlie, okay? Her life's been destroyed through this as well. This is what I'm so angry about, yeah? This isn't about saying I lied. You've said these children lied, yeah? That's what the judge has done.
Yeah, right.
So what he done, this pupil come to court, she gave testimony that the Syrian boy, within a week of being in school, beat her up with a hockey stick, yeah? And she still
Hit her in the back
with a hockey stick. Another boy come to court and testified that he witnessed it.
The tone here is they told the truth and they've been badly done by. They categorically did not tell the truth. However much you wish that was the case, there is no reasonable person who could read that evidence and come to any other conclusion. And crucially, he knows this because he was there. He heard everything in the case and he's also read the judgment. He knows this better than anyone. And here's one more.
To find me in defamation, I said he threatened to stab someone. So then I produced the school records from his teacher that says he stabbed someone. Then I go to the boy's house who he stabbed and get the boy and his mum on camera, covertly, yeah, saying that he stabbed him and drew blood.
Now this is 2 issues mixed up. He said, to defend the defamation, I said he threatened to stab someone. It was the alleged threat to stab Bailey McLaren and not someone that was inadequately substantiated in the event. The someone he goes on to describe is another incident which I think he successfully established the truth of. The judge didn't agree, but I disagree with the judge there. But, crucially, it wasn't part of the defamation defence. The claim that Jamal threatened to stab Bailey McLaren is not substantiated, and I will repeat, there is no rational person who can read the evidence and come to any other conclusion. So he's claiming the moral high ground, I was badly done by, this was true, that was true, which he knows he does not have in relation to the specific matter of the libel, which he lost, because he knows his defence failed, because he was there as well as being able to read the judgment like the rest of us. And we're getting a multiplying of these sketchy invocations of truth now. We're getting it from various sources.
When truth is more important than the law, or should we say truth is more important than the law? There's going to be a court case at some time in the near future. We don't know exactly when. And the crux of this court case is, to me, now it doesn't matter what the legal process is and what the eventual judgment is. What is actually on trial in this upcoming court case is not Tommy Robinson, but the whole of the British judicial system.
I understand that shifting the focus away from reality and onto the esoteric when simple reality is inconvenient. But he's going to be on trial for violating an injunction. It's as simple as that. There's absolutely nothing esoteric about it. So despite these many various grandiose appeals to truth, to the moral high ground, there is nonetheless no logic in him violating the injunction and therefore walking himself into prison on this basis, because he knows that he did not succeed fair and square. So there's no logic to him violating it on that basis. And even if he had succeeded, if he had the moral high ground, I told the truth and they're trying to cover it up, then you can see that as supplying a reason for going ahead and sacrificing yourself to the altar of truth. It would still be sketchy because the downside would be a potentially rather long prison sentence, but you could see the logic to that. But it's not there because he knows himself. Whatever you think, whether it makes you happy, makes you sad, he knows he didn't succeed. So on that basis, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to have released those videos. So we have to look for other explanations. Is it a grift? Is it a dishonest money-making scheme to try and rinse his supporters? Well, that doesn't make any sense either, because whatever money he might raise through his various appeals, he's going to spend it and more again on his defence. And if he was going to end up making money from it, if he was going to end up net positive from the whole thing, would you then simply hold that £200,000 profit or whatever as a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow of a long prison sentence, sitting in your prison cell thinking, oh well, I'm going to have a bit of money waiting for me when I come out? Would it then be reasonable to do that, even if you did think you were going to be net positive financially after this? But he's not going to be, because the money he's going to raise from his supporters is not going to cover the court costs, because they're going to run into, and the defence, because all that's going to run into hundreds of thousands. So it can't conceivably, surely, be a money-making scheme. So we can tick that one off the list. Does he hope to actually somehow blag his way out of this? He posted this on Twitter, which is now deleted, but it's recorded in the Mail. I told the judge the footage was in the hands of people in the USA before he slapped an injunction on me to silence me. The documentary was eventually published by people in the USA, and now I'm facing 2 years in isolation in the prison system for something I didn't publish. He is surely not thinking that he's going to stand up in a court of law and say, Your Honour, I gave the videos for safekeeping, I gave the film for safekeeping to Alex Jones, or whoever it was, in the USA, on the understanding that he wouldn't publish it, and if he did publish those videos, I would be facing a long prison sentence. And my friend, whoever it was, Alex, said, no, do you know what, Tommy, the truth is more important, and I'm going to release them anyway, irrespective of the fact that I know that me doing this is going to send you, my friend, to prison. Does he actually think anyone's going to believe that? Nobody is going to believe that. So we can tick that one off the list as well. Where are we? Moral high ground. I will stand up for the truth. No, that has no logic to it, because he knows he doesn't have that on the basis of everything that you're looking at here again. Is it a grift, a dishonest money-making scheme? No, that doesn't make any sense. Is it a case of, hey, it wasn't me, Your Honour, it was somebody else? No, obviously, nobody's going to believe that, and he doesn't surely think that anybody's going to believe that. What does that leave? Is it the kind of psychological need to exist in this perpetual unending chaos, like a drug, the need to always be surrounded by this maelstrom of madness? That's inadequate, but it's as good an explanation as any of the others that we have. Is it simply a case of the spectacularly, gobsmackingly retarded morons he surrounds himself with, and who give him the most catastrophically bad advice because they don't face any consequences? Go on, Tommy, release the videos, you know you have truth on your side, or whatever. Is it simply the case of listening to the absolutely worst people? Maybe it is. That could be the best possible explanation. He's not going to increase his outreach, because his supporters, yeah, they're going to carry on shouting and screaming, but anybody else is simply going to say, when it's reported in the press, as it obviously will be and already has been, okay, he violated a court injunction, contempt of court, and that's where that's going to end. It's not going to increase his appeal in the slightest. No purpose was served by releasing those videos. He could have simply said, okay, look, it's a fair cop. I went into this with reasonable good faith and my evidence failed. I'm not going to get into the fallacy of the sunken costs. I'm not going to pour good money after bad. I'm just going to let this go now. But he decided, for reasons I can make absolutely no sense of, and which do not seem to even be there, to go ahead with this. So go ahead and post your own ideas. I'd be interested to see what you think.